So yesterday, a Trump assassination attempt failed in Butler, Pennsylvania, and today we've had time to reflect on what happened and what could almost have happened. And perhaps more importantly, the abject failure, or worse, by our Secret Service and those overseeing that department. At minimum here, heads need to roll at the Secret Service for this massive failure to do their job and secure the most obvious line of sight vantage points. There also needs to be an investigation into how this could have even happened in the first place. Was it just incompetence by the Secret Service? Or was there something much darker, more sinister taking place in Pennsylvania yesterday? And by that I mean a purposeful negligence by the Secret Service and the security groups collaborating with them. So I think to tackle this, let's dig up a timeline of events here. So we've got Donald Trump taking the stage at the Butler Farm show in Butler, Pennsylvania, to the sound of God Bless the USA and waves to the cheering crowd. This was at 6:02 p.m. By 6:11 p.m., a few minutes into his speech, while discussing immigration, Trump pointed to a chart showing illegal border crossings when a burst of gunfire is suddenly heard. Trump grabs his right ear as more shots are fired. We see Secret Service agents rushing to the stage, yelling, "Get down," and surrounding Trump. And the shooting is over in less than a minute. One person in the crowd sitting behind Trump is killed, and two others are critically injured. The shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, is killed by Secret Service snipers. And by 6:12 p.m., Secret Service agents helped Trump get up to his feet while still covering him, and Trump is heard saying, "Let me get my shoes," as they prepare to exit the stage. And the iconic moment where Trump raises his fist in the air and the crowd responds with cheers, and Trump is ushered off the stage while the crowd chants USA, and he repeatedly says "fight" as he is taken off stage. He is then taken to Butler Memorial Hospital about 11 miles from the rally. So again, I have to ask the question, how did this even happen? What in the world was the Secret Service doing here? First, I want to point out one of the obvious issues that was on display, on parade yesterday. And I'm talking about the agents. The ones on the ground mostly did a fantastic job. They covered Trump. I'm not going to fault them for how long it took them to get him off the stage. That is a problem, but again, it is what it is. Now, I want to focus on one of the other issues here. Unfortunately, among the Secret Service detail, there appears to be an out-of-shape female agent who we can see here who hesitated. She's supposed to be doing her job and protecting the president, but instead she is cowering while others do their job. This is humiliating to watch. Who put this poor girl in this position? And later, we see her appearing to fumble to even holster her gun while looking confused as to what she's even supposed to be doing. I get it, it's a high-intensity situation, but that's why you're supposed to have the best, the brightest, and the most experienced on this particular job, for this precise situation. Why was this woman even here in the first place? What was she doing there? This question takes me to this goober. We see here the Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, not to be confused with Beetle. And wouldn't you know it, she's been focused, of all things, on diversity hires, because of course she is, rather than hiring the best and the brightest. Let's take a look together, shall we?
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious, as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Mission officers are training to uphold, pretending this field is the most famous address in America.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and say they failed that miserably. Now, I have to ask, what is it with these people? What is it with their stupid desire, this insane need to focus on diversity instead of quality? This is how you get people killed. So that's problem number one. The second issue that really bothered me when I had time to review all of this has been this other news story that Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was denying repeated requests for additional Secret Service protection for the former president, before the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. The allegations were made by Representative Mike Waltz, Republican congressman of Florida. He has claimed that Mayorkas repeatedly rejected requests from the Secret Service for enhanced protection for Trump, and he said that he has reliable sources confirming these denials. The House Homeland Security Committee, because of this, is now planning to investigate these allegations. The committee is aiming to conduct thorough oversight into the events leading up to and following the attempted assassination of Trump. And naturally, the Secret Service was quick to deny this. Secret Service spokesperson Anthony Guglielmi denied the claims. He posted on Twitter, and he stated that they indeed increased protective resources and capabilities in response to the heightened campaign travel tempo. Here's what he said on X or Twitter. He said, "There's an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security resources and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false. In fact, we added protective resources and technology and capabilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo." Now, whether he is telling the truth and nothing but the truth, so help him God, the investigation will have to uncover. But this wouldn't be the first time that agencies have lied to the American people, so color me suspicious. Now, this then leads us to the biggest issue with yesterday's assassination attempt in my mind. What on earth was the Secret Service doing, leaving the closest and most obvious line of sight building just wide open for this kid to climb up and take aim and fire at the president or former president? There is no way this lapse in judgment can be justified by the Secret Service. It's one of two scenarios in my mind. Either you have a pitifully incompetent set of people who were planning out the security for this event, who all need to be fired immediately, or it was purposefully left unprotected. Let's take a look at a map or aerial overview of this venue. This guy was within 150 yards of Donald Trump, in a place that easily should have been one of, if not the most obvious places to cover for the Secret Service. To have no one covering that building is absurd. And if there was someone covering this building, what in the hell were they doing? And on top of this, when we look at video of the snipers who had the shooter lined up for nearly 40 seconds, waiting until Crooks opened fire before taking him out, it begs the question, what was happening here? Did they have stand-down orders? Were they ordered to let him shoot first and then take him out? What is the Secret Service doing here? And that's going to take me to the final concern I have about this whole situation. The shooter himself, Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was identified by the FBI as the shooter in the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. This man graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022. He received a $500 Star Award from the National Math and Science Initiative. State voting records shows that Crooks was a registered Republican. However, when he was 17, he also made a $15 donation to Act Blue, which is a political action committee that raises money for left-leaning and Democrat politicians. Now, naturally, as you might suspect, the media and many leftist social media users pounced on his political registration. They came hard and fast on this once he was identified. Particularly, social media users have been focused on his political affiliation as if somehow that might inoculate this event from the obvious insanity and rhetoric from the radical left and elected officials who have, for the past 8 years, equated Donald Trump with Adolf Hitler and an authoritarian thug who must be stopped at all costs to save democracy. But the reality is, we really don't know anything about this guy. One of the biggest red flags about Thomas Crooks to me is the fact that there is no social media presence. Particularly for his age group, this is extremely unusual. Normally, when we have these kinds of situations, we have some record of what kind of a person this was before, places like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and etc. Scrub their profiles. So there are obvious questions now. How was he radicalized? Who corrupted this man to become a killer? And most importantly, was it just dumb luck that the kid went to that particular building that the Secret Service just somehow overlooked? Or was he pointed out to go to that direction? We just don't know. And the sad thing is, either way is credible. With the way things are going, it's hard to trust anyone right now within our government. But don't worry, my friends. The FBI is now taking the lead in this investigation. The same people who faked evidence for their classified document case against Donald Trump will now be the people investigating this incident. So good luck for the real truth ever coming out. Trump surviving this incident will only further drive the insane radical left further over the cliff. I have seen the stupid and the deranged in my social media feeds over the last 24 hours, upset and crying and angry that the shooter missed Donald Trump. These evil and vile individuals are so monstrously insane, so radicalized, so full of TDS or Trump derangement syndrome, that it begs the question, is there any coming back from this for these people? And why does the Democrat Party and their allies in the mainstream media, why do they continue to promote the frenzy of hatred towards Donald Trump?
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
This constant rhetoric of worse than Hitler, bad for democracy, must be stopped. What did they think was going to happen? We already know what the radical left can do. We have seen what Antifa and BLM have shown us with their wave of violence over the last 8 years, what they are capable of, taking over cities, burning down cities, killing people. What will these people do if Donald Trump appears to start running away with this election in the polls? For now, I suppose all we can do is watch and wait. But naturally, on this channel, we'll be keeping you posted on what happens next. From the To Be Frank show, my friends, I am Adrian. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.